Hey, you guys know I love making shooting videos back there at the table in the range. But another thing you may not know about me is I do love gardening, and this has just been a real hobby of mine, and I want to share with you guys some tips and tricks about how to get the most production out of a small space garden. Quickly just going to show you what I've got here. This is a row of like microgreens lettuce, and that'll be a pain. Lettuce is not a high production item. It only comes around in the spring and the fall. Otherwise, midsummer it's just going to die back. But here, the landscaping fabric, buy the good stuff. Invest in that. You're going to reuse it year after year. And weeding, trust me, if you do a year or two of gardening without having weed prevention, and you will learn quickly to get some of that. I'm going to cover these with a couple bags of mulch just to hold it down. And in the soil here, I've got the native soil, which is pretty decent for agriculture where I live, but I've also cut in some pre-bagged manure and Miracle-Gro garden soil over the years, and that stuff's pretty expensive, but as long as you do a couple bags each year, you're going to get much better results. The white stuff that you see on top of the landscaping fabric is Epsom salt. That is recommended for roses, peppers, tomatoes, other things. I will sprinkle some general like 10-10-10 fertilizer in here as well at the beginning of the season before I get started. So in this section of the garden, a real budget way to do some peppers is don't ever buy the plants pre-made at Walmart or whatever your home gardening center. These are red bell peppers that I simply saved from a pepper I was eating back in November. I always save one of the cores, just set it on the windowsill, let it dry out, throw it in a bag, and then keep the seeds until March when I started that. I started these back, I think, on March 17th. And so, row of peppers here, row of peppers over there, because I know the lettuce is going to die back. I'm going to get rid of all these cinder blocks here. Now, tomatoes are extremely easy to grow and high production value. These are some big boy tomatoes. Usually I mix up different varieties. This year I just went with all the same. And these kind of stakes, don't ever buy those flimsy little poles that they sell to try to, or tomato cages, stuff like that. Get the full size 6-foot poles. And do it right, and hammer those into the ground so that any summer thunderstorms aren't going to knock them down. And these will easily grow up to be taller than the pole. My sun comes up through there, across the sky this way. So I always put the tomato plants on the south side of the poles, and then I'm going to use some cut up pieces of old t-shirt to gently tie them off to this. These little notches make for nice catches to snag those things there. So tomatoes, I will have absolutely more than I can eat, and I don't can, but what I do is I'll make chili base and tomato soup midsummer when these are in full production, and just throw it in Ziploc bags and freeze it for the winter. And pardon my mess here. Over here we've got kind of a work in progress of some leftover stuff. The onions are from last year. This plant here is actually catnip. I started with one little plant 2 years ago, planted right here, and it has since, look at this. I need to cut all this down, dry it for the cats. But these are nice herbs here too, because I only bought them one time and they keep coming back. So got some rosemary, got some sage for when I make some homemade chicken sausage, and this is, I'm drawing a blank. One of the Italian herbs. One of you guys will say it. So here the irrigation system is portable and can be reset. So this is just a soaker hose. I'm going to cover this whole area with landscaping fabric and mulch as well, cross-hatched. That way I can walk through and will never need to weed. And anytime I want to water, I just turn on the hose for an hour and it's going to soak this whole thing. So my little project here is I'm going to duct tape this whole section, trench it in, and then it's going to go over here to this mound, which is planted with some compact space bush cucumbers. Cucumbers are another plant that are really going to produce a lot. And couple other items back here just for fun. This is all wild blackberries. Nice to have a little snack by the shooting range. And over here I'm taking some of those extra cinder blocks, and this whole thing is my chicken coop, which I built probably 6-7 years ago, and I haven't used it in at least 3 or 4 years. And my wife wanted to have a couple birds again, so started building up a little house for them to roost in. And then I also have to build stuff for where they're going to lay their eggs and for their food and water. So anyway, guys, chickens always going to have eggs. Tomatoes, peppers, onions, cucumbers. I also have a secondary garden that has some red potatoes, and those are super easy. You don't even need to have a fence around those to protect them from deer or whatever, because whatever. And then I'm also going to grow some pumpkin and squash and stuff in the other side garden out in the front yard over there. But anyway, guys, a little bit long-winded here, but my garden, and it's going to produce probably a good half the food that I eat all summer. So thanks for watching. Happy gardening, happy shooting. Thanks for watching.